Hello everybody, so today in this video I just want to discuss with you all briefly a common misconception. Okay, so with structural imbalances such as flat feet, knock knees, bow-leggedness, Dowager's hump, scoliosis, things like this, we always get told by professionals such as, physical therapists, usually not physical therapists, they're usually educated enough to know otherwise, but doctors usually claim, medical doctors and whatnot, they usually claim that these muscular structural imbalances are caused by genetics, that they're genetic, that flat feet and knock knees are genetic, okay? And maybe they have genetic influences, but it doesn't really matter whether they're influenced by genetics or not, because they can be reversed or at the very least significantly improved through corrective exercise. But of course, medical doctors and these people who care so much about genetics, generally their only solution is prescribed surgery and these really extreme procedures that aren't going to fix the imbalance and usually make them even worse. So, most people are left misinformed, feeling hopeless, thinking that, their flat feet or whatever are just genetic and there's nothing you can do about it. But that's not true. And a lot of people run around in the world thinking that flat feet and knock knees and bow-leggedness aren't really that big of a deal. But yet they have back pain, knee pain, ankle pain, even things like headaches and all sorts of issues. They don't realize that their pains and injuries and whatnot are almost always caused by these muscular imbalances, okay? So you have to understand first that if you have something like knock knees, okay, everything from the foot up to the skull and back down are interconnected. Okay, if you have flat feet, it's going to influence your knees, your hips, even your neck and your spine. Okay, flat feet will influence it one way or another. And if you have, let's say, tight hip flexors, it's going to influence everything down the kinetic chain and back up. All right? So if you have a significant muscular imbalance like that, it's going to affect everything, okay? People with flat feet are likely to have knock knees, and then they probably have inactive glutes. They probably experience lower back pain when bending over for long periods of time. There's a lot of issues that come from that, okay? And it all makes sense when we look at anatomy and science, okay? But when the doctor says it's genetics, that's just their cop-out. It's because they don't understand it. That's pretty much the excuse they always use when they don't understand something is genetics, okay? Sorry. I know it hurts a lot of people's feelings and whatnot, and it makes you responsible now for correcting this imbalance. People want to believe in genetics because they don't want to take control of their body and they don't want to put forth the effort that it takes to correct things. So they want to believe that they're hopeless so that they don't feel bad when they realize they could have done better than they did. But anyway, so to correct knock knees, generally, it can be many different things, okay? It usually is caused by inactive glute muscles, because when you squeeze your glutes and you truly activate them when you're standing, you'll notice it's very challenging to maintain knock knees. Okay, your knock knees seem to go away when you squeeze your glutes. Also, fallen or collapsed arches, flat feet. That's just a collapsing of the arch. Is also hard to maintain if you squeeze your glutes, if you activate your glute muscles. So, inactive glutes almost always are going to cause knock knees and flat feet over time. And this is something I've seen not only in myself before I started to correct my my flat feet and knock knees, but also my friends and family who have it as well. I have quite a few family members who have flat feet, but it doesn't mean that it's genetic. It just means that there's a lot of people in my family with flat feet, and they probably could reverse their flat feet just like I have. So activating the glutes is one thing. Using glute activation exercises every morning and night before you go to sleep, and remembering to activate your glute muscles when you're standing, when you're exercising. Okay, because a lot of people, they do like overhead pressing and deadlifts and squats, and they are not contracting their glutes. Like, they're not consciously aware of their glute muscles. They don't realize it's turned off, and they usually experience back pain and knee pain because of this. You have to actively engage your glutes. This will help to correct this, and this is a big one, and this is one of the easiest fixes. The other thing is shoes. Okay, like I said, everything from the ground up is going to influence the entire kinetic chain. If you're wearing shoes that have big soles, like, marshmallow shoes, running shoes, like usually the shoes that people find the most comfortable, these are usually, they have so much padding on the bottom that they offset the natural arc of the feet. They actually cause imbalance in the muscles that hold the arc up, that cause a strong arch in the, usually flat feet is mainly caused by weak muscles in the foot, the foot that keeps the arch, that stands the arch up. It collapses when the muscles are weak or if they're inactive. Marshmallow shoes can do this, but the most common is that people with flat feet usually have wide feet, okay, a lot of times. I myself have noticed this. And when you wear shoes that are super tight, like if you tighten them up a lot, you tie them as tight as you can, or if they're just narrow shoes, they're gonna cramp your feet together. I've always noticed this, but never really cared a lot, never thought it mattered. But I've always worn shoes that cramped my feet together, okay? If you have wide feet like me, and you don't allow that big toe to stretch out, it's going to be cramped like this all the time. You're going to experience cramping in the big toe, and in the palm of your foot, it's always going to cramp, because you essentially have shortened that muscle down there that would normally need to be relaxed and stretched out to support your arch. And since that you have wide feet and those shoes are cramping that muscle, now the muscle is shortened and now the arch is collapsed, and now you have flat feet. So how do you fix this? Well, the exact opposite of what caused it. You wear shoes that give your wide feet room and that allow your feet to expand, that allow that big toe to stretch out and move freely. And you should actively be stretching that big toe in the palm of your foot whenever you get a chance. And if you do this along with squeezing your glutes and learning how to actively engage your glutes, eventually this will kind of sort itself out. But there's other things you have to understand too. Sitting for long periods of time, working at a desk job, having tight hip flexors, being inactive overall, let's see what else. Having tight external rotators in your hips, or just tight rotators in general. These can all influence flat feet and knock knees. They need to be addressed. What else? What was the other one? Oh yeah. There's corrective exercises that you can and should use. Stabilization exercises. I recommend watching Jeff Cavaliere from Athlean X, his video on flat feet. Just search Athlean X or Jeff Cavaliere flat feet, and he has excellent videos with exercises that can help you bring stabilization back to the arch of your foot, that can help correct it over time. And actually, these corrective exercises alone will pretty much do everything I mentioned. It'll help to stretch out the foot and support the muscles of the arch in the foot. It'll also help to bring stabilization to the knee to correct knock knees, and the specific exercises that Jeff Cavaliere from Athlete X recommends require active engagement of the glutes or of the butt muscles. Okay. And so it pretty much nails everything with one exercise. But, you know, for a more long-term solution, you should definitely wear shoes that allow your foot to stretch out, and you should definitely actively engage your glutes when you're engaging in exercises that call for them. So, these are the main things in a nutshell, okay? But I highly recommend people understand that flat feet can be corrected. This is the most important thing, okay, is that people just think like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, it doesn't matter, and flat feet is genetic, so why even bother? You know, it's misinformation, and it's a lack of understanding. People don't realize just how much of a large impact that you know, flat feet, knock knees, and these things actually have on their health. If you don't want back pain, and if you want to be especially if you're an athlete, these are very important. But most importantly, if you don't want to be a crippled old man or old woman when you get older, you should correct this. Okay. Otherwise, you're going to deal with chronic pain and all sorts of injuries as you grow up. So, take care of this and check out those videos I mentioned with Athlete X, Jeff Cavaliere, yada yada, and just learn. Okay, learn about flat feet. There's plenty of great information out there. Some of it's bullshit though. Okay, some people make it too simple. They tell you just need to strengthen your hip abductors or what have you. No, that's not how it works. Another good thing you can do is actually get a tennis ball, or more, even better, a golf ball. Put it under your foot and roll your foot out. Okay, it's basically giving your foot a massage. Okay, this will also be very beneficial for many things, especially if you have chronic foot cramping. Okay, so also salt is probably the best cure for cramps. But anyway, leave your comments and questions down below. Just know that diseases usually can be improved or corrected over time, and most things that people believe are genetic are actually a lot of times not genetic. Okay, they can be improved. So even if they are genetic, they can be improved. So yeah, let me know what you think, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.